Hello world, it's Dave again. And I have another teaching in Japan video for you that was just kind of fun. It was cool. I've talked before about spontaneity in my teaching here in Japan, and this was another one of these good stories. And it just kind of marks an interesting period of time in my experience here, which is around the end of the term, I suppose, heading into Christmas holidays. And so I try and work pretty hard, whether I'm at the school or if I've got time off. I'm like going to the gym or I've got my own creative projects, things like this, other stuff that I'm working on. But it kind of goes without saying that the teachers at the schools that you'll work at, if you come over to Japan, have an incredible work ethic. They really do. Maybe not 100% of them, but I would say damn near. People are working their asses off here. And when you come to a time like this time of year and there's so much to do as they end out the term, you'll find that they are just whipped and beaten, that they've been through so much, and they're going to be tired. Again, it's kind of a characteristic that I've seen, at least in the schools I've worked at, that they're really resilient. Dealing with this fatigue, I think a lot of people would break down a lot sooner than they do, and they continue to go. But in the end, we are all still human. So I felt a little bit when I've gone to the schools in these last couple weeks as we approach the winter holiday, just that added bit of stress. Um, maybe a shadow of the stress I might experience in other places for how well they deal with it, but it is there. And so I've tried to be sensitive to that fact. And when I'd gone into one of the schools that I worked at recently, I noticed the one teacher, I really like her. I just think, I respect her a great deal. She works very hard. I noticed that she was kind of down and out, and I was asking her, I said, I think you have a pretty busy week, haven't you? You've had a pretty busy week. And she said, yes, I have. And then, we were in a class together, and I was just saying to her, I appreciate you putting in all that effort. What everybody, whether they tell you or not, I think most people appreciate if you just say, I can at least see how hard you're working. That's really helpful for people. And she said at that point, she gave up the fact to me that she said, I only got 1 hour sleep last night. And I was like, wow, that's rough. I feel run down, and I'm going with my solid 8 at least every night, 7.5, 8, and I'd like to get more than that. So I said to her, there's only so much I can do. I will say I'm just an assistant language teacher. I'm there to help them with their English classes and stuff. But I told her, I said, if I can help you with any kind of thing, don't hesitate to ask, because my days are usually free enough that if I've got free time, if I felt run down enough, I wouldn't have said anything, but I felt like I could offer a little extra hand if she needed something done, dealt with, helped with. And 90% of the time, they don't even say anything. So I figured, what is it to just offer that little bit of support again, maybe a little mental boost for her to know that at least somebody would help her out if she needed the extra bit of encouragement or whatever you want to call it. But then later in that day, she came down to the office, and I can't remember what I was doing. Nothing too crazy. I might have even been just reading a book. I had some spare time. And she came down and she said, "You know what? There is actually something that you could help me with." I said, "Okay, sure, shoot, just let me know and I'll do my best to help you out." And she said, "Well, I have this friend, and I still don't know if it's like a daycare or a community center or what it is, but she had this friend who worked at something like that called the Shirata Spaceship." And she said that her friend had asked for a letter to be written to her kids or students, whoever was there at this community center, in English, that was to be addressed from Santa because they were going to receive presents this year from Santa. So I said, yeah, of course I could help with that. In what way would you want me to help? And see, she said, well, I've got this little piece of paper here that is basically all these lines in Japanese that I'm to translate to English. I was wondering if I can offer you a very quick translation into English, what this is saying, and then if you could enhance them, make them a little nicer, expand on the ideas therein, just English it up. And I said, absolutely, sure, no problem. So I got my notes out on the computer and I said, just shoot, sing in my ear here, like what exactly it is that she's saying. And there is some level of entertainment. Just hearing direct Japanese translation to English, it always comes out sounding kind of poetic. It's interesting how that happens, but it was, something along the lines of, I, as Santa flying through the sky, saw you one day and enjoyed, this fine opportunity that one day I might possibly grace you with gifts, like this kind of like very honorific style of speaking to someone. So I get down all the notes and got the gist of it basically, and I said, yeah, that's no problem at all. And she took off. She's always running. Her email address is like running bunny something. I can see why. It's kind of a joke, but it's literally true. She's always running. And so she takes off, and I start to work on this project for a little bit. And I was pretty proud of it. Again, I didn't have a lot to do that day, so I figured why not pour the effort into this thing that she had asked me to do. It's not a lot of skin off my back. And so I wrote a nice, I got a good, call it half a page or just under half a page, big thick paragraph done, really enhancing everything that she'd given me the bare bones of. And I thought, it'd be kind of cool to personalize this, that if the kids receive the message, I can print out this message. But when I was young, I am still of a generation that when we were in, elementary school, that they taught us to write in cursive. I don't know if they still do that. It'd be sad if they didn't. It's a very beautiful looking thing. And so I thought, 10 years out of practice, whatever it is that I am, I still remember it decently. And so I might look up a couple of the letters, maybe a couple of the capitals I can't quite remember. And I could sign on this sheet Santa Claus. And so it would have that, that personal touch that would then make this letter in English seem like it was from Santa Claus with this cool cursive handwriting style. And this is when the language barrier kicked in and just kind of resulted in this funny situation where the teacher came back downstairs and she reads through the paragraph that I've written, and we go through it, just clarifying some of the meaning. And she was like, "Oh, this is excellent. I'm so happy. I really appreciate you doing this. It saves her whatever 10 minutes, but it's important for her because she uses all those minutes." And I said, in addition to that, I said, where it says Merry Christmas here, I pointed at this sheet that I had where I'd been practicing my cursive on it. And I said, I could do that, pointing to the signature that I'd been practicing. And she said, "Oh, I could never ask you to do that." And I said, "Oh, no, it's no big thing. I mean, it's just a little bit of cursive." And she goes, "Okay, well, if you can write it like that, that's fantastic. Just when you write it, please try and put it within the boundaries of this page." And she hands me the page, and it dawns on me then that she thinks that I've offered to write the entire message in cursive. Oh man, so I wasn't expecting that, and that is for me an actual real challenge. But I felt obligated at that point because I didn't want to let her down and go, "Oh no, I meant these two words." And so I said, "Oh yeah, yeah, sure. I can totally write this whole message in cursive." So I went on Google and I got up the alphabet out again, and I wrote her the whole message in cursive and then signed at the end Santa Claus. And it took me a good 3 or 4 pages of having to start over again before I got through the whole thing because I kept screwing up words, and I'm writing in ink, so I can't white it out. It's got to be one run through that I write the thing perfectly. And I managed to do it. And it was great because it was unexpected, spontaneous, and then ended up in this kind of cool, when I finished the message, quite a piece of art. And then when she came back, she was just awestruck, and she's also being very polite. It's only so amazing. But I think it's kind of cool because it's sort of our equivalent to maybe hiragana or katakana. That's our English symbols. And she was really, really happy. And I think it'll be great for the kids that they get this handwritten message from Santa written in cursive. And I also included with the message, of course, the printed off sheet of the English just typed, because I know that to read, I think they call it romaji, when you read actual, like, I think it's the Greek alphabet or whatever our alphabet is, that's confusing enough for people, let alone if someone's then written that into cursive. So they had both copies, but it just looks so good to look at that she now had that to give to the kids at the Shirata spaceship. So cool experience at school. I got a chance to help her out, kind of yeah, lend a helping hand in a time when, if you get to this time of the year and you're teaching here, you realize they're under the gun, and you may not feel it so much because your schedule is obviously far reduced to theirs, not actually being a full-fledged member of the staff. You're treated like one, but unless you're working the hours that they are, I don't think you could consider yourself in quite the same light. So it was really, really good. I really enjoyed it. I was very happy to have been a part of that experience. All right, I'm starting to drone on. There's no need for that. I've told you the funny story. It was kind of cool. Maybe if you come over and teach, you have a spontaneous event like that too. Just embrace it, enjoy it, and it may feel like that extra work you may not have had to do, but when you're done, you always feel better to have done it. So that was great. Let's see, Japanese word and a song that I would recommend at the end of the video. The song that I'm going to recommend is going to be a fantastic, relaxing piano piece. I won't say the name of it because I can't even quite pronounce it, but it'll be down below. So if you're studying, check the description. That'll be nice to enjoy. Actually, it's easy. It's Nocturne by Chopin, and it's really good. Watch it listen to it with a little snow going by in your window this Christmas. It'll be very peaceful. And then the Japanese word or phrase we're going to go with is, if you want to say it's cold, if you want to say better than that, better than saying it's cold, it has become cold. I will tell you how to say that. That is Samuku narimashita. Samuku narimashita. And if you want to say it's become cold, hasn't it? You can say Samuku narimashita ne. Add the ne onto the end. Try and say it with less of an accent than I have. Look it up on the internet somewhere better. I don't know. If you enjoy these videos, please do like, subscribe, and share. Aside from that, things will be down in the description. And until we meet again next time, world, thanks for tripping with Dave. Enjoy the holiday seasons. I'll probably be checking in with you again regardless. Ciao for now.